Gaza, one of the world's biggest news stories. But one of the smallest and most claustrophobic strips of land on Earth. A virtual prison with no way out and hardly any way in. The years of conflict with Israel have left Gaza in ruins.
My granny sacrificed herself and blew herself up.
And I will recruit the other children here for martyrdom.
Today, Gaza feels like a population living on a life support machine. There's not enough of anything anymore. Money, water, food, or medicine.
I know what death means, I know what blood means, I know what war means.
I'm scared. I think we're going to die. Death is coming.
This tiny strip of land is bordered by Israel, Egypt, and the Mediterranean Sea. Entry to Gaza is through checkpoints, all of which are controlled by Israel. Gaza makes up only 6% of the Palestinian territories, yet contains nearly half of its population, around 1.4 million people. 50% are children under the age of 10. Roughly twice the size of Washington, D.C., Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world.
عمر محمود جمعة جبال لي البلد أعمل في كتائب شهيد عز الدين القسام أقدم نفسي فداء لله.
Fatima al-Najjar was a grandmother to 23 grandchildren. These are just some of them. She'd had a tough life. 2 of her children had been killed and others were in prison. And her own house had been destroyed, forcing her to live with relatives. When she died, all she had was a room with a wardrobe, a bed, and a nail to hang things on. She lived in dire poverty. But she chose to die in desperate anger. Last November, at the age of 67, Fatima became the oldest female Palestinian suicide bomber. She approached a group of soldiers and detonated explosives strapped around her waist.
I cried when she died. We all cried. We loved her very much, and she loved us too.
She used to like to cook for us. Tomatoes, spinach, beans, she knew how to cook everything.
It would be nice if she was still here and could stay with us, but she doesn't need us now. It is better for her to go to heaven, and only God can take her there. We children can't give her judgment, only God can. There is going into hell, and there is going into heaven. She is going into heaven.
My name is Beth.
And how old are you?
I am 8. My granny sacrificed herself. She opened the door on the Israelis and blew herself up. The last time I saw her was in the afternoon. And then she went out. She said to me, I'm going to be a martyr. She was laughing. I didn't know what she meant. We got the news at the evening. The grown-ups started to cry, and the little kids cried too. I loved her lots and lots. She was Mama and Papa for me.
2 weeks before her death, Fatima went on a women's protest in the town of Beit Hanun. While she was there, she witnessed the massacre of 13 children and the death of one of her friends. Her family say it was the tipping point.
She went to Beit Hanun to break the mosque siege. She was the first woman to confront the Israeli soldiers and walk right between the tanks. We were surprised she came back to us alive after that. We thought she would get killed there.
Fatima's grandchildren say she came back from Beit Hanun a changed person. She was unusually quiet, and she chose to spend time with each of the children individually.
She bought me a dress that was worth 30 shekels, and I hadn't been able to pay her back. She said to me, "I'll let you off the debt if I die today." But I didn't take her seriously. I mean, she was normal. She was helping us to bake the bread before she went out to die. I suppose she may have been trying to tell me indirectly, but her words were full of riddles.
The grandchildren insist they had no idea what she was planning to do.
We are astonished at what happened. We all miss her dearly. The little ones cry for her and call her name at night. They really loved her a lot. They keep visiting her. They go to her room and knock on the door as if she's still there. They sit on her bed and reminisce about her. They keep calling her name and asking her to come back.
I wish I could have said goodbye, and then I would have got her last words of advice on how she was going to do this. Who drove her to this ideology? I have dealings with the movement, but they are saying very little to me. I'm trying to find out the address or the person to talk to. I want to do the same. I want to know how to do this.
Are you serious, Fatima? You're 14 years old, and you're telling me you want to be a martyr?
Yes, if you look at it from a view that life is just a passage, then age is not an obstacle.
How would you feel, Fatima, if one of your very small cousins, one of the little ones, told me that they wanted to be a martyr? Would you be very worried?
As a matter of fact, I'm trying to raise my little sister to think in this way. This wouldn't worry me, and I will recruit the other children here for martyrdom.
Fatima, these don't sound like very good choices for kids of your age to be making. Would you agree with that? Isn't it sad that kids of your age are making these choices?
No, it's not sad. Life is a passage. It's not a sad thing.
Whether you become a martyr or not, you die in the end. We're all going to die anyway.
My grandmother will be a very good example for the children to follow. She will give them the passion for martyrdom and raise them in the love of their land. And when they grow up, they will learn to defend Palestine and they will revenge their grandmother.
Do you ever think about the kids in Israel? Do you ever wonder if, for example, the children in Sderot, do you think that they might be suffering too?
Yes, of course. But just like our children live under constant fear, their children should also experience the same fear and terror. That's a normal reaction. I refuse to accept that the other children of the world can live in peace and security while the children of Palestine live under terror.
The children are growing up really thinking that this is normal. Not being able to move around, having difficulty getting to school, violence, their siblings, friends being killed.
Gaza and Palestine in general, it looks like a prison. When you want to go from here, Gaza, to Ramallah, for example, you have to go through the checkpoints and to have many questions. Although it's our land, there is no place to go because every good place, the Israelis destroy it. Here they know what war means, what death means. They see blood. They know everything about politics. They just live in a political situation. All in schools they talk about politics. When they play, you can see them shooting other by toys. I'm a child. I know what death means. I know what blood means. I know what war means for us. I know, they know, I know, and all the children know how the feeling of not having a mom, a dad, or brother.
And 1 second to go.
Experience a land of many surprises. The romance. The amazing bargains. And fun-filled family days. Visit Malaysia Year 2007, celebrating 50 years of nationhood.
The democratically elected government of the Palestinian territories is Hamas, but the West regard Hamas as a terrorist organisation and have frozen aid to both Gaza and the West Bank. The economy has collapsed, and civil servants haven't been paid for over a year.
It's beyond people's coping mechanisms. They can't cope anymore, and that's certainly what we're seeing here in Gaza. People have sold anything that they might have to enable them to get by, and they're just not making ends meet anymore. We're seeing poverty rates really get much worse. People are living on less than $2 a day. Over 80% of the population are now at that rate of poverty, which is comparable with some of the poorest places in the world.
The sea, a source of food and income, is patrolled by the Israeli military. Gaza's fishermen can only fish safely in shallow but polluted waters. They say these days they are lucky to catch a handful of sardines. So mostly the boats don't bother to go out anymore. The land here is fertile, and Gaza used to have a thriving agriculture industry. But with the sealed borders, these farmers can't sell their crops. Many children have had to drop out of school to support their families. In these fields, I saw children as young as 5 spending back-breaking 10-hour days picking carrots. They earned just 30 shekels. That's about $5 a day.
We are very poor. We have no money. We have no money to buy bread. We can't even afford to buy a sack of flour. At Eid, I go to my uncle's. They give me 5 shekels. I bought food with it. I didn't have enough to buy anything else. I don't have enough breath to say all these words. I get very tired. My head starts to ache from the sun. My hands get sore. I'm too tired to play. I just work.
This is Al-Shoka, a village overlooked by Gaza airport. The whole area was destroyed by Israeli tanks in August 2006 during a military incursion. Israel says it has to carry out these incursions to protect itself. The people here didn't do anything wrong. These houses, and the families in them, were simply in the way. This mother told me she used to have a 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, a washing machine, and a TV. Now all she has is a few dirty blankets under some plastic sheeting.
The bulldozers opened the barbed wire and they came to our shoka. They told us to get outside. I was scared from the sound. It explodes. I left all the toys where the bulldozers were. They broke my toys. They are under the house. They didn't leave us anything except one tree. Then they went over there.
Living conditions like this are particularly hard on children. There's no sanitation, no clean water, no shelter from the cold. There's not even a safe place to play. And if the children get sick, there are no doctors. But even if there were, their parents couldn't pay anyway. 12-year-old Iman and her younger siblings were alone in their house when the tanks arrived to destroy it.
Our bedroom was over there. Where we are standing now used to be my parents' room. The 3 of us girls were in one room, this room. The Israelis came and started to bulldoze everything around us. My big sister spoke to them and she was waving at them. The soldier waved her away, so we ran away. We ran in our bare feet. We stayed in this room until the whole house was brought down and we left. They had opened a hole in the wall. We didn't go out of the door. We went through the hole. It was 4 bedrooms, a sitting room, a kitchen, and a toilet. It had a big staircase in the middle, and a garden with trees, and an olive tree, and a fig tree, and an orange tree. There is no peace. The soldiers come from time to time, doing the rounds. We never know when that will be. As long as the Israelis are there, there is no life for us. I am scared. I think we're going to die. Death is coming.
This road runs through the middle of the Gaza Strip. During the years that Israeli settlers lived here, it was closed to the Palestinians. The settlers left in 2005, and their homes were destroyed by the Israeli military. Many Palestinian homes still bear the scars of the battles surrounding the settlements. Battles the Bashir family were right in the middle of. Their tall 4-story house is situated between a former settlement village and a Palestinian village. The Israeli military tried to take over the house because it wanted to use it as a lookout position, but the family refused to leave. So, the soldiers took the top 2 floors, and the Bashirs, who have 6 children, stayed on the ground too. It was a sometimes violent standoff that lasted 5 long years.
Look, as you see, this is the remains of the soldiers. Okay, they stay in our home. This is the camera.
Show me this, it's a camera.
This is the camera, yeah. They take photos for the Palestinian people in this area. Yeah, this is the explosion, but thank God my father didn't. Was explosion. This was a bomb.
A homemade bomb.
Yeah, this is a bomb.
And who made this?
The soldier.
On one occasion, the soldiers set this tripwire for Mr. Bashir. He didn't see it and set off a small explosion.
The bomb was an explosion.
Why do you think they did that to your father?
I don't know.
Clearly wasn't designed to kill him, but to frighten him.
The soldier clapped.
The soldiers clapped?
Yeah.
So they thought that was some kind of joke?
Yeah.
The first time I saw the soldiers, I was scared. But I got used to them, and then I wasn't so scared. I asked them if I could go to the toilet, but the soldiers said no. They would not allow me to go. They did not let me, so I wet myself. They forced us outside, and they took my dad and myself, and they blindfolded me. And this was the most scary thing of all.
And how do you feel now this is over, now the soldiers have gone?
I'm so happy now they have gone. Now I can go out whenever I like. At night and day, people can come and see us. I'm happy even my close friends can come visit me, and I can go to their houses. I mean, I'm happy, happy, happy.
As internal tensions rise in Gaza, children have also been caught in the crossfire between Hamas and Fatah, the two leading Palestinian political parties. In December 2006, 3 children were killed when their car was riddled with bullets in an apparent attack on their father, a senior Fatah intelligence official. Over 50 children have been killed in the past 3 months. And more than half of Gaza's children are thought to be suffering psychological damage as a result of trauma.
Life is quite difficult. It's hard to move around. It's difficult to find safe places. Schools, kindergartens, places where children would normally play have all been affected by the incursions here. Children are not finding it easy to play, to interact with other children. There's a lot of impact for families and children.
All this destruction and mess, we just want it removed. We want it back as it used to be before with all the trees. We want peace in this village because we always live in fear and we don't feel safe in these houses. I swear, we heard the sound of rockets and the noise of shooting and everything. We'd love some peace in this world, especially in Gaza.
What would she say to the politicians on both sides?
My first word is directed to the Arabs. You talk about saving children, and you speak much about children, but you don't really mean what you say, because children do not have any rights here. To Ehud Olmert, the Prime Minister of Israel, I say to him, why do you kill children who are innocent? I think it's because he and the Israelis are scared of children. This is because they think the children will grow up to be fighters. It's the opposite. I want to tell him the children aspire to be educated, go to the university, get PhDs. They want an education. They just want an education.
Violence, poverty, politics. Daily reality for the children of Gaza.
In Gaza, the population is estimated to be about 1.4 million, and over half of these people are children. Just think about what kind of impact that has in the longer term for a whole generation. It's got to be addressed because it can't be spelling good news for the long term for Gaza or the wider situation.
I really dream to be a journalist because when I get bigger, I'll describe the situation here. I'll tell everybody how we live, how we suffer.
God willing, I would like to be a professor of chemistry at university. That's if I do not succeed in being a martyr.
And when you become the first female president of Palestine, which I'm absolutely sure you're going to be, what are the first 3 things you're going to do?
If I'm president, inshallah, I would first give children all their rights, so they don't have to live in the sadness and misery that we live in. Second, I would remove all this rubbish. I would not leave it the way it is now.
I would see that there are municipalities that could clear the mess left behind by the Israelis. And third, I'll build a new country.
Inshallah.